the Chief Justice's removal, it was based on the Daniel Ofori case.
Yes.
Only.
Yes.
Yes.
So why are we discussing the other petitions?
No, it was in the Daniel Ofori case. So when you look at the letter, sent to her, signed by the secretary to the president,
Ofori matter.
That matter, yes.
I think that I have some information that I have to share with Honorable Beatrice. The transfer of the judges. I don't think what you said was actually correct in terms of why the matters were transferred. So the transfer.
I didn't say
the cases were with Justice Boansi. That particular case was not transferred. What happened was that she had family trouble, as the Chief Justice said in a press conference. I pulled it out, and had to travel suddenly to USA. Justice Miracle took over her court cases, all her cases, not just Daniel Ofori, as it is the practice. And then the other one, there was another case before Justice Lodo, which is the second Daniel Ofori case. That was transferred to Miracle after the lawyer for EcoBank. Both cases were Daniel Ofori versus EcoBank, Daniel Ofori versus EcoBank. Yes. So he applied to the court that the cases be united, pursuant to Order 1, Rule 1-2 of the High Court Procedure Rule. So to suggest that this was some bias on the part of the Chief Justice is completely wrong.
I never said that. In fact,
you said that Daniel Ofori.
No, I think the point she was trying to make was that Daniel Ofori is very well known to the woman. And so, more or less, it couldn't have been
as if it was wrong.
No, that's not what I said.
I think what she was doing was to establish a basis that Daniel Ofori couldn't have been influenced by the NDC to do so. In essence, Daniel Ofori was known to the lady or to the woman. And they had some history. She called it checkered history.
Yeah.
So that's the point she was trying to establish.
And I made the point.
So you're not saying that the Chief Justice did anything wrong in that?
No, she actually said that
she didn't do anything wrong.
That is her administrative right, and I will not fault her. But it was the basis for Daniel Ofori's petition.
So Beatrice said
it was in the petition. This was referenced. Yes, but that's the point. If this is referenced in the petition, this is nothing wrong. She's done nothing wrong. So she should not be found guilty on account of this one.
Yes, I'm not sure she was found on the.
But it is in the Daniel Ofori petition.
Yeah, but the Daniel Ofori petition had a number of allegations.
Yes,
and not all those allegations succeeded.
So which allegations did the committee find?
There were three.
There were three.
The per diem,
excluding
the per diem, the transfer, and there was another one in respect of the CJ's recommendation. Those were three.
The recommendation, the one you just read.
Yes, the recommendation. The transfer of one, Mr. Badin.
Yes.
And then
that's the staff of the judicial service.
And then the per diem bit.
So these were the three. So this one failed.
Yes,
this one failed.
Because it didn't
have referred to it copiously.
No, I'm saying that this.
Okay.
So the point was that
you are trying to show the relationship between the two.
Yeah, and the fact that I think Paul earlier you made a point that it did appear that the elements of the exactly. So she was trying to say that Daniel Ofori is known to the lady, and Daniel Ofori could not have been pushed by the NDC to do so. They are the checkered history.
But that may be the reason why Daniel Ofori's application should have been rejected, because it is clear that you and this woman have a fight, and you are trying to take advantage of a certain situation.
Even though he may state other points which may be
but they had three applications before them. So before you examine Daniel Ofori's speech, I would have thought that once you know that there's almost like a personal situation, you do not allow constitutional provisions that are created for all and for longevity, that somebody can use his personal dislike for somebody, apply through a constitutional provision. It has to be very carefully looked at.
So that one failed. The personal one failed.
No, the point is that Daniel Ofori, that's the point that Honorable Beatrice is making, that Daniel Ofori and Gertrude Torkonoo are perennially at loggerheads.
No.
If the two of them have been at loggerheads, if they've been at loggerheads in the judicial system, and it's well known that these people are loggerheads, then Daniel Ofori should be precluded from being able to apply.
Even though he may raise salient points.
That is why I'm saying that because it is law, it is a living organism. So we will grant a 10% chance that when a person who has a personal matter with another,
placed on that should have been lower.
It should have been much, much lower, because this is a person who we all know. I didn't know, but I'm finding out from those who know that indeed she and Gertrude Torkonoo have been at each other's throat, including making an application to the Supreme Court for Gertrude Torkonoo to recuse herself, and the Supreme Court granted it. Not perhaps because they felt that Torkonoo was biased, but they also looked at the history from High Court, and they may have found that, well, it's okay. And Madam was agreed with it, and she stepped aside. So the fact that Daniel Ofori is the one raising this issue should give us a bit of...
Are you saying that if I'm a loggerheads with you and you do something that is wrong...
That's what I'm granting 10% to. But we all know how human beings are. But So we all know how human beings are. So we all may like to take advantage of power one way or the other. That is why the limitations of power is very, very important. That is why when the Constitution gives a power authority to anyone,
the issue about
they also give
etc. raised by Annangfio should not have been treated with a lot
of seriousness because Annangfio may have a personal interest. Now, whether it's a breach or not, and we are now hearing that during the hearing, witnesses came to testify who all said that this has been happening every now and then. Well, the fact that something has been happening every now and then doesn't mean it's correct. But is it the reason why you remove a Chief Justice? That there's been some sort of breach in her travel policy, or even if she hasn't breached it, that some money that is being looked for around her travel policy, obviously no intention to steal has been found. And that is why we remove a Chief Justice. If that's how we want to do it.
Paul, look at it this way. The Chief Justice in the Adom-Otchere case, for example, when the matter of paying salaries and some facilities and giving some privileges to the first ladies, etc., came up, she was quite categorical about it, that Article 71 cannot be expanded to include persons who have not been named. So salaries could include privileges, other facilities. Now, she's quoting from the terms of conditions of service to say that a condition of service granted this. Meanwhile, she has also said, or knows very well, that the conditions of service could not be placed above, for example, the Constitution, which she has interpreted to say that could not be expanded to include the spouses of the people. How do you reconcile
her conditions of service does not include her spouse benefiting from her travel?
Yes.
It does.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that what she's been accused of?
Yes, but she has said, so benefit for her travels, who pays for the travels, the per diem, etc. These constitute privileges, or you can even say facilities that will come with the office.
Yeah.
So if she's saying that even the president's wife and vice president's wife, etc., cannot be entitled to those facilities and privileges by extension, why should she?
But
they don't have any appointment.
Yes, but that's the point I mean. Are they in the president's condition of service? In the president's condition of service, are we supposed to be paying her wife? If it's part of the conditions of service, or are you alleging a conflict between conditions of service and the provisions of the Constitution?
Exactly the point. Because she has interpreted that to mean that you cannot expand
so here's a case where
of Article 71.
Her conditions of service grants it, but we are discovering that those provisions and the conditions of service run contrary to Article 70 and 71 of the Constitution.
Which she has interpreted.
And then she had occasion to interpret at the Supreme Court, where she said that when this conflict occurs, the Constitution should reign supreme. Is that the point she made at the Supreme Court? That when there's this conflict between.
That's what she said.
Okay, so that these conditions of service.
It's not that categorical.
Hold on.
She was very categorical.
So if that is so, it means that these conditions of service that all Chief Justices have benefited from. But we are now finding out. We are finding out that it runs counter to Article 71 provisions. And then we are saying that you Torkonoo yourself. You know that already. So when you saw the conditions of service, you should have raised that point and changed the conditions of service so that they will conform to Article 71 and 70 of the Constitution. That's what we're expecting of her, isn't it? That she should have done that. Okay. And for the fact that she didn't do that and that she traveled and she, as it were, through the conditions of service, breached the 1992 Constitution, that is why we are removing her. That's what we're saying, isn't it? Okay.
And the committee said that constituted an assault on the public purse.
Yeah.
Who said that?
The committee.
Oh, the committee said this constitutes an assault on the public. But you agree with that, don't you? Okay, fair enough. And if that's how we want to remove a Chief Justice appointed under the 1992 Constitution, that's okay.
No, you see, Paul, the challenge is that until she gave that decision, there was this unspoken rule about...
Was it a unanimous decision of the Supreme Court?
It was.
And she was one of the unanimous.
She authored the opinion.
She wrote the lead opinion.
Yes.
Okay,
she wrote the unanimous opinion.
Yes, so who were the others on the unanimous? Those who agreed.
I forgot.
That's even more interesting. So if it was a unanimous decision...
Yes,
who were the others on the panel?
So let me get them.
Because that means they all agreed with her.
Yeah, so Poorman was there. So Justice
Poorman was there.
So
that's very interesting.
Yeah,
so this is Justice Poorman.
Agreeing with you. Poorman's argument is that we cannot make laws together. Where you say this and then you say that, oh well, I will not apply the laws I have made to myself. As for me, I'm exempted.
So let me give you the other members of the panel.
And then Poorman also has the same conditions of service, doesn't he?
No, he's not a Chief Justice. He's not a Chief Justice.
But the justices of the Supreme Court have very similar conditions.
No, but he's not a Chief Justice.
But he's not a Chief
And we don't know.
How do you know whether?
No, we don't know whether he has used it. We don't know.
That's
right.
important.
Even if he has used it,
let me give you the rest of them. So Lovelace Johnson was there.
Does that negate her appointment?
Does this just let me Professor Assuming was there and Guy was there.
Assuming that this court case didn't happen and that we have no record of a Supreme Court decision in which Torkonoo participated where she has said these things, would it have changed something?
I don't know what the committee would have said.
Yeah. We can't tell.
Because that's
I don't know what
you
the
are relying on.
we can't
That there's a
tell.
contradiction because she herself.
Paul, let me help you.
That's what the committee has said.
That what?
That's
I get that, but
that's the reasoning of the committee.
That's the point I'm making.
Paul,
So the committee
assist
relied
you.
on it. They heavily relied on Torkonoo's history in Supreme Court decisions, especially this case. So I'm asking that, assuming that case was not there, will they have had something to rely on, or they would have treated all chief justices as the same? And in finding out this decision anyway, are we asking the former chief justices to sort of pay the money back? Is that no, part of the conversation?
No.
Paul, can I make one suggestion?
You've been on for a while. I'll come back to you.
Okay.